All right, welcome to the special board meeting for the Village of Cambridge Trustees on January 14th. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all for being able to come in for a special meeting. We were hoping to have all the legal language wrapped up before our meeting last week, and that wasn't possible. So tonight we have that, and instead of waiting until February's meeting and causing any more delays to the firehouse project, we just call the special meeting so we can handle that. So this is the resolution that the title insurance needs to be able to do their part. So I'll just read it. It says, resolution authorizing the acquisition of vacant real property from the Cambridge Volunteer Fire Department, Inc., located at 50 Gilbert Street in the Village of Cambridge, County of Washington, State of New York, and further authorizing the conveyance by the Cambridge Volunteer Fire Department. Whereas pursuant to section 4-412 of the Village Law of the State of New York, the Board of Trustees of the Village of Cambridge has the authority to acquire real property. And whereas the Village of Cambridge intends to acquire.
Just do the resolve clauses if you want.
Are you okay with that? Okay.
Yeah, we don't.
You can see it all there. It's the whereas, this is the tax map and all that. So yeah, therefore be it resolved that section 1, the acquisition of the real property known as 50 Gilbert Street in the Village of Cambridge, and more particularly shown as Lot 1 on the map entitled Subdivisional Lands, now or formerly of the Cambridge Volunteer Fire Department, Inc., made by CT Mill Associates dated August 6, 2019, approved by the Village of Cambridge Planning Board on November 12, 2019, and filed in the Washington County Clerk's Office on December 16, 2019, as map 13355 from the Cambridge Volunteer Fire Department is hereby approved and accepted. In addition, the deed restriction concerning the use of the property for fire department purposes as presented at this meeting and including in this resolution by reference is hereby approved and accepted. Section 2, pursuant to and in accordance with the applicable provisions of the Village Law of the State of New York, the Village Board hereby consents to and agrees to the gift conveyance of the property by the Cambridge Volunteer Fire Department to the Village of Cambridge. Section 3, the Village hereby approves of the cost of the expenses of title insurance and recording fees in an amount not to exceed $1,100 in connection with the acquisition of the property. Section 4, the Mayor Carmen Vogel is hereby given the authority to execute any and all necessary documents to effectuate the terms of this resolution and the acquisition of the property. And then section 5, this resolution shall take effect immediately. So if you turn to the indenture part, that shows you what the deed, which is pretty standard language, except for Schedule A, that is the restriction the resolution spoke of. I won't read the top part, it's telling what town, et cetera, county. So here's what we're agreeing to, that the parcel shall be used for fire department purposes only. Said restriction shall continue for as long as the property is used for fire department purposes. Other uses may be permitted by the agreement between the grantor and the grantee. In the event the village no longer desires to use the property for fire department purposes or desires to sell said property, the village shall give grantor, which is the fire department, the first option to purchase the property at a fair and reasonable value and in accordance with any applicable New York State or local laws. The grantor shall have a period of 60 days to exercise said option. In the event the option is not exercised by the grantor within the 60-day time period, then the village shall be permitted to use the property for any desired purposes or shall be permitted to sell or convey the property at its sole discretion. Grantor agrees to cooperate in the execution of any and all documents that may be necessary to waive this option. So that is what we're agreeing to. Any questions or comments? No?
That was very tough language to get.
It is, it's a lot of language.
The initial one of these just said the property will only forever be used for fire department. So that meant if it's 70 years, we didn't have a fire department anymore, the village couldn't sell it, they couldn't do anything with it. So
Okay.
it was kind of, it was a back and forth, and
Yeah,
the fire department worked with us, and it was
yeah.
our attorneys played
Yes.
sunshine quite a bit on this one.
Absolutely, absolutely leaving, there's danger in leaving something open-ended, because we don't know what the future holds, 70 to 100 years from now. If the village had done what we're doing now and moved the fire department to a different property, then that property would be locked forever and end up being vacant because it couldn't be sold to anybody else. And, the building that we're building now would be our version of the Ackley building. It'd be a building that would sit there vacant for years with no option and totally devalue the property. Could never be added back to the tax rolls by someone else purchasing, et cetera. So this kind of firmed up the intent of the fire department, but had terms that were specific.
It's unrelated to this, but related to firehouses. Does the old firehouse or the current firehouse have any kind of?
I don't believe so. I'm gonna have
Okay.
Lance pull a copy of the deed to check, but I've never seen on any documents.
Well, the difference is that land wasn't previously owned by the
Right.
firehouse, it wasn't,
It was
it wasn't,
village.
donated to the village for the purpose of that. It was the village's land when they built
I think
it, so.
they purchased it and built right on it,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have them double check though, just to make sure.
Just curious.
Yes, because if that were to be the case, then we'd be stuck with that property with no
Right.
option to sell it for anything else or use it for any other purpose. That's the tricky part too, is if you can't repurpose it into something else, it has to stay fire forever. That's, how do you do that to a property? So, yes, we got that cleared up and we're ready to roll.
Okay, I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. And our motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you very much, everyone. Get that camera.